Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the last stage of the ensuite bathroom. So these are just a few pictures of everything all completed. They will come back and measure up the glass. And they're a very nice tile. They have a nice bevel edge, which makes your joint just a little bit bigger, but I enjoy these tiles. So I just wanted to show off a little bit of my work there. You see how everything lines up with the floor to the curb to the back wall. Okay, so we're going to start on that line, and this will be my first course going from one wall to the next. And just make sure that everything's nice and level. Put your level on that. So I have all my cuts all cut. Remember, I'm taking off an inch, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so that's good, that course. Make sure you put your level across and in front. Like I said, I haven't had a straight floor in probably over 2 years, so. Okay, so there's my first course. We're getting pretty close. Now, there's arrows on that back I was telling you about, but I will do a separate video. So the one arrow, you always go in one direction of that arrow. The second course, you go on the opposite direction. And the reason why you do that is because there might only be so many different patterns. Like you might get 5 or 8, 10 of different patterns in a batch of tiles. You don't want to just grab it from the box and start laying. You always go, just mark your tile, the first course, arrow one way, that direction, and on the second course, you mark out the arrow going the other way. That way you don't hit the same tile. That's what I was talking about earlier. So sometimes you get into it that you start laying tiles without noticing the arrow. You'll start seeing the tile right next to it the same. So anyways, that floor is complete. This is the next day. So I'm gonna check to make sure that the ceiling isn't bad. And I actually got really lucky on this ceiling. So it was pretty good. And the reason why you check your ceiling is because you want to get the highest point before you gauge your tile. I always start with gauging with a full tile at the top of the ceiling because your eyes always go up to that point. It's always nice to have a cut on the bottom and not on the top. So I'm just gauging, and this is the highest point of the ceiling, but it's actually really good. And I'm just going down my joint line that I marked from the floor joint to the wall. Just gauge all the way down and see what your cut's going to be at the bottom. Okay, see that line on that wall? And that's my tile line for the first course. Make sure, just gauge, keep gauging all the way down. Remember, full at the top, full at the front doorway of the floor, and then full at the top of the wall, the ceiling. Gauge all the way down. I believe I had a 13-inch cut on the bottom of the floor. It could be, it was a while ago, so I could be wrong about that. Okay, so now that I got my gauged out, I'm gonna start chalking out that first course. This here is my line going all the way up. So put a tile on that line to that wall and see if there's any gap. And I got very lucky with this. I think I was like a 1/16 to a little bit below an 1/8. So this is my first course line. You're gonna go through, down the knee wall. I'm gonna 45 right here, and you're gonna go right through, You see that line right there? Okay. And all the way through. There we go. There's my line. See my line? That's my first course of my tiles. There we go. And always a full at the beginning of your wall tile. Cuts always at the back wall. So right now I'm laying out and marking out, making sure I'm on that line. You can use wedges just to pick it up to hit that line properly. You always put a level on that first tile to make sure that it's going straight. That bubble, you want that bubble straight for that first tile. Okay. Just keep continuing to follow that line. And remember the arrow. Make sure that one course goes one way and the arrow goes on the next course. And always keep your level. Check your level every time to make sure that your tiles on that first course are lined up properly. Okay, so what I did was I worked on this first course, then I'm up to third course. Just work on the back wall right now first. Come around a little bit into the shower, okay? But don't do the whole thing right away. Just concentrate on that back wall with that first course going around into the thing, because you want to make sure that you hit that over that knee wall. It gets a little tricky, so you got to make sure that you're going to hit that proper. As you can see, I didn't lay any tiles on that wall yet. And I just put a tape across just to hold it in. Okay, now that I'm good, I did finish my first course. And now I'm gonna put my second course. I miter these, my edges. I'm not a big fan of tile edges. You can if you want. If you want to do that, that's fine. Whatever you feel is a lot nicer. And when I'm done grouting and everything, I just get the sandpaper, I dip it in water, and then that's it. There you go. Thank you. Come back.